Okay, I'm going to call this meeting of the Veterans Advisory Committee for May 16th to order. I will take a roll call to ensure that everybody can be heard. Mike?
Here.
Justin?
Here.
Sean?
Here.
Lucas?
Here.
And the Vice Chair Bob here. And we have a guest tonight. David, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you guys.
Okay, great. We'll get to you in just a second.
Yeah, no rush. The my other guy's gonna come in about 7:30, so.
Okay. All right, first thing on the agenda we'll get out of the way is approval of previous meeting minutes.
Did they go out this time?
I'm sorry?
Did the meetings minutes go out this time?
Yeah, I sent them out.
A couple of weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Second.
Aye.
Okay. Roll call vote. Lucas?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Stoney?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
And Bob is aye. David, just give me a heads up when your colleague gets on the meeting, okay?
Yeah, he's gonna jump on Zoom, so you should.
I'll see him pop up. Okay. All right, good. All right, so we'll come back to you. All right, Stoney's got item purchasing: canopy, Pelican case, and business cards.
Yes, so the Pelican case, we'll start off with that. Holly got with me and said that Hanscom they have some ones that they're looking to get rid of. They're about 2 feet by 1.5 feet, and told her that would work. So I'll see if she can get us one of those, at least one, and then we'll go from there, see if we need anything bigger. As far as canopies, last time we mentioned this place Easia,
Yeah.
and I found that one. It's 10 feet by 10 feet. You can do, it's $287, and then you can get your logo on the front.
So we can get the VAC?
Yes. Now, there's some additional things that you can do on that site, but it was really confusing. Like, they have walls,
Yeah.
if you want it boxed in. They also have canopy, like a rolling case, that you stuff everything in there, and then it's almost like a golf bag. So if that is what we're looking for, we can, vote. I would probably say we probably need to vote for $500 for the canopy if we want to get all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I can continue to do some research to see how much it would be, but I think that would cover it.
And this is for National Night Out or meet and greet?
All of it.
All of the above, okay.
Yeah, we can use it for whenever. Like I said, I'm willing to discuss if we need the walls. I thought the carrying case was smart. So that I thought would we should probably at least look to see if we can get that. The walls I wasn't necessarily 100% sold on, but we do get some pretty bad winds.
Yeah.
So you figure if you had that, at least you could pull the table back and you didn't have wind blowing your papers and stuff everywhere.
Right.
But like I said, I'm not 100% sold on the walls.
Right. In my past life, when I was setting these up on the athletic fields and stuff like that, the walls are okay, except for the fact that sometimes when you do have a wind, it keeps everything together. And if you don't have it anchored down well, you just create it like a balloon.
Okay.
It's one thing to secure it so that the wind doesn't blow it over. It's another thing for it to just like get picked up.
Right.
But on that note, the walls and a carrying bag, we could put it on. We can vote to acquire it.
Yeah.
However, I would let me see if I can source some for us. Rather, now what color?
I would prefer blue. They had a blue, but that's something else. Is whenever I was looking at that type, which has a vent at the top,
Yes.
the only color I could find was that black. I definitely wouldn't go with white
Yeah.
because it gets moldy and you
Right.
can see it.
Yeah.
But I think a blue or a black would be the best
All
colors.
right. I know you said you were going onto their site, but their customer service a few years back was really good.
Yep.
If you call them up and talk to them, you know, tell them what you want and stuff like that. Especially if we're looking to do call it the graphics. or,
Yeah.
You know, then, you know, you do wanna talk to them.
Yeah.
I would prefer talking to them directly. And, you know, so, yeah, I would say we start off with the tent with our name on it. And then we'll also inquire about, you know, the bag and the size and stuff, just that.
Yeah, and, the only thing I would say if we vote for it all now is because they had deals.
Yes.
So it was like $350 for a canopy, the walls, and a carrying case.
Yep.
But if you bought it separately, it was like $600 total.
Right.
So I think
Okay.
if we were to, you know, we do like what we did last time, we vote the higher rate,
Yes.
but then we continue to work it until we get the best price,
Yes.
and it's everything we want, then that's fine.
Yep. Okay.
So,
So if you wanna move on this tonight and purchase it, we need a motion and then a vote.
yep.
Right.
So I'd like to make a motion to spend $500 to purchase a canopy with the potential of purchasing walls and a carrying case to go along with it.
Second. I'll second that.
So let me just, you can make that a lot easier verbiage. You can,
Motion to purchase the canopy?
you can motion to spend
accessories.
up to X at
Right.
easy up for the following pieces.
Yeah.
And it flows a lot easier, but
Okay. So make a
you just say
motion
so
to,
amended.
yeah, so as amended, make a motion to spend up to $500 at Easy Up to purchase canopy and accessories.
We threw you a curve, you good with that, the way we worded it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote, Mike,
Aye.
Justin,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Lucas,
Aye.
and Bob is aye. So Holly's gonna pursue the Pelican case?
Yes.
Okay. Courtesy of Hanscom, all right. Now, the business cards, you sent me the printed information, and my
Yes.
first reaction was, that's gonna be a giant business card. There's that's a lot of data on there.
So Andy was able to get it all down onto a business card already, which is why I put it on here to talk about. I don't know. I've got it somewhere in here, but he was able to get it shrunk down.
I need this.
So
Is this the emergency?
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what I haven't checked. Is if that's all the same information on the back, but I thought it was.
So I can take a picture of this front and back, and that'll give me the information I need to
Yep.
place the order, okay.
Let me see if I got. If I may. Yeah, that's the same.
Yeah.
All right, so to be above board, do you wanna vote to proceed with the purchase?
We voted on the business cards already.
We did? Okay.
Yeah, last time.
All right.
You just had the questions on.
So before we leave tonight, let me photograph somebody's card front and
Yep,
back.
I've left it out.
Okay.
And-
All right, Holly is not on the call.
No,
All right. Next item is meet and greet discussion. Sean, that's you. You're up.
Okay, as I said last time we talked about this, we set the date of November 7th, I believe. And we can get a couple of comedians, and I believe the price is gonna be around $350. We hadn't really firmed up the venue. And then the other piece not the other piece, but a few other things we need to talk about is, are we going to sell tickets or have tickets so that we can have some form of, like, shall we say, crowd control? And, for example, if we have it over at the Post in their room, they have a capacity of 70. So, I mean, we would love to have 70 people in the room. If we get it, I don't really know, but, you know, I was just trying to come up with a way of, like I said, so we could have an idea of who's gonna show up. And I think maybe call it the ticket option would be, give us a way of accounting. You know, not accounting per se, but counting heads,
Yeah, so seating is limited, you have to reserve in advance,
you know?
yeah, so you know going into it how many people are coming.
Yeah, okay.
And then whatever we're gonna charge for the entrance fee.
Right, so,
I am not a fan of charging.
no, not, right, I didn't literally mean selling tickets.
Yeah, I
However,
just know we talked about it before, and whatever we do needs to be free.
yes,
The Legion, if we go with them, if they wanna do food, if they
Yeah.
wanna do something like that,
yeah,
then they can charge.
okay,
I'm good with that.
all right.
Okay, so admission is free, seating is limited, you have to pre-register.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's it, you're done.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the other thing is advertising it. I understand, you know, we do a lot with Facebook and the grafting groups and such as that, but I think we should reach out to even maybe Telegram Gazette, obviously Grafton News, even though it's somewhat limited, and the community papers and such. If we have to buy an ad, that might be something we have to come back and,
So when we did the 4th of July advertisement, everybody we advertised with is free. And
okay,
it's all the local, it's Grafton News, it's Community Advocate, Blackstone Valley.
okay,
So I've got, I've got a bunch of emails already, even Spectrum News. They came out last year and that guy actually just got back with me, so. The reporter that interviewed us last year, just got back with me, so I could always ask if they could, you know, run a quick little story
Right.
advertising for us.
there's I get an email, I think it's Grafton Patch or something, but I'm not exactly sure, but anyway, and then they send out an email, I think, once a week, things to do in Grafton this weekend. So if we could, I don't know who sends it out, I'd have to find out. That's another thing that we could try and tap into and see. All right, so that's what I got for right now.
If you wanna send, I'm in like no condition to keep all this in my brain, so if you wanna send out an email with what you need,
Right, okay,
like the advertisements and stuff
Right.
like that, we can come up with a plan. And then that email will just jog
Yeah.
my memory.
mm-hmm,
Cause I think we've got everything else already accounted for.
yeah, okay,
And then we also need to reach out to Carmen and the other gentleman that's taking over for Stan, the VFW.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And we need to start bringing them into this conversation as well.
yeah. I did broach the subject with Carmen, and he said, whatever you want, whatever you need, you know, type of thing, so we're good from his point of view right now, we're good there.
Yeah. And maybe it's something where if they wanna, you know, barbecue or have food, they
Well,
can sell
I'll ask
food,
him, yeah, because
keep the bar open.
that's what we would bouncing around was, okay, food to get people in, you know, type of thing. And we did talk about food trucks possibly, but I don't know, I'm kind of two minds about that because food trucks, people have to go outside
Yeah.
But then by the same token, maybe you don't want, if you're setting up chairs like this, you don't want people trying to eat, whatever. It's one thing to sit there and have a drink in your hand, but it's another thing if you're having, if they were having food inside, then the tendency would be to have tables. But I'll let, you know what, speaking of that, maybe we can follow up with Carmen and ask him, his 75 seat capacity, is it like 10 tables of 7 or X number of tables with a total of 70 chairs?
Yeah.
Or is it 70 chairs lined up
Rows of chairs with
auditorium
seats.
style? So, okay, I'll follow up with Carmen on that one.
Plus, the members' room is downstairs.
Yes. This
So
is,
maybe
this is the room upstairs.
Right. People watching the comedy show upstairs, food downstairs.
Well, they have that bar upstairs, but so they would, I'm assuming they would stock the bar and have a bartender. And, yeah, I'll ask him what he thinks, if they have, maybe someone there would wanna be outside grilling, selling hot dogs, or maybe we call a couple food trucks. As, I will say this, there's a business on 122 near the Mass Pike that has had 2 or 3 food trucks for the last couple of Fridays outside. And I'm assuming they're doing that to get people on
Yeah.
site. So,
And I've started to have food trucks reach out to me for the 4th of July parade too.
Okay.
So I've got
good,
somebody else that we could,
sure.
if we could throw them this, then that would keep them interested in case we want to
Yeah.
go with them for the parade in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, and hopefully, I mean, November 7th, it's early enough. We shouldn't be dealing with, really cold weather, stuff like that, so.
Any further discussion on this topic? Mike?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, so I'll go backwards in the agenda and introduce our 2 guests we have this evening. Bob Sabin and David Summers, and they represent the Reverent Warriors. I'm familiar with David. I met him at a rucking event, and then through social media, I became aware of their organization. So you guys probably already heard us talking about meet and greets for veterans in town to kind of get them out of their shells. And one of the things I noticed was that you guys are doing all kinds of events to get guys out to participate and go have a few beers. So we were hoping we could pick your brain or just let you guys talk and introduce how your group got started and how we might all be able to work together or learn from what you guys are doing. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Excuse me. Thank you all for having us today. My name is Bob Sabin. I am the lead coordinator for Irreverent Warriors here in Massachusetts. I sort of introduce myself all the time by letting everyone know, especially in groups like this, that I am actually a civilian as well. I got started with Irreverent Warriors back in 2017 as a volunteer for the organization, and it's a big, long story that I don't need to get into today as to how that happened, but suffice to say that they sort of hooked me in, and it was such an amazing group and amazing event that I became a part of. And as sort of time wore on, and as I got more involved with helping to plan these events, it sort of became evident that I liked planning them, I was good at planning them, and in order for us to make these things happen, we needed someone who could dedicate a lot of time to it. But that's not to say that we don't have a whole lot of people like Dave and like some other people that do get involved, on the veteran level and provide an enormous amount of support for these events. The simplest way to describe what we do, our mission is to bring veterans together using humor and camaraderie to improve mental health and prevent veteran suicide. So what we try to do is bring people, like you said, out of isolation, out of their shell, to reestablish their support network, to be there for each other. We find that the best sort of source of support are fellow veterans. So whether that's at the Silkies Hike, which is our sort of signature event, and I'll talk about in a minute, or other events that we've now started to do, like barbecues and sporting or music events, family picnics, happy hours, reunions, just simply getting people together, even if it's someone's living room, The idea is to get people together, partner with other veteran organizations who provide services, whether that be job placement, training, housing, service dogs, you name it. But all in the spirit of just making it a point to bring people out and get them together. What's sort of unique about the Silkies hike is that was sort of how Irreverent Warriors got started was 2015. A Marine, Donnie O'Malley, brought some friends together because they realized that they were losing more people here at home than they lost downrange. And they said, we gotta talk about it, we gotta do something about it, we just gotta clear our heads. And they, sort of sat around and said, all right, let's just go for a walk on the beach. And I don't know, wouldn't it be fun to just wouldn't it be funny to throw on some Silkies and walk around on the boardwalk? Maybe, we'll meet some women. And then they said, I know, let's throw on our rocks, and, because that'd be cool too. And, and let's get some drinks. And, so it sort of just evolved into this whole, like, let's go out. But at the end of the day, they realized, that worked. Like, we feel better. And when they talk to other people about it, they say, well, I want to do that with you next time you do it, let me know. And it just sort of grew from there. And now, there are towns all over the country, and they're doing these things, sort of international now. They've got them in Guam, Puerto Rico. They did one in Normandy last year. They've done them in Germany. All over in Great Britain. So they just keep growing. As I said, we have 2 hikes here in Massachusetts, in addition to all those other events. But we have our Silkies hike on May 25th in Milford, and then we have another one on October 5th in Worcester. And like I said, it's not an athletic event. It's just come together, wear your Silkies or don't, wear a ruck or don't, but just come out, walk with your fellow veterans. We stop every 2 miles, and it's just an opportunity to be there for each other. And for me, what I found just as sort of being a participant or helping the group is that I get a lot of people that say, well, I don't really need the help. And I say, well, that's fine, but maybe you'll be there to support someone who does. All right? So why not come out, get a little exercise, come out, be there, have a great time, laugh with some fellow veterans. But then if somebody needs it, if you see somebody that can use a help, use a hand that day, well, you'll be the one that's there to give it. So we get all kinds of people coming out in very different eras as well. And Dave's been with us, now for a little while, and has been on a few hikes. So I'll turn it over to him and let him talk about his experiences.
No, I think, Bob, you summed it up. I saw it online, I questioned going, didn't know what I was expecting, didn't know what was going to happen. Went to it and was hooked from the first one I went to. It's just a really nice group of people. So the actual hike is veterans only, can go on the hike, which is a nice, so that you could speak freely. It is a big, the whole purpose is to get vets out, get them together, get them amongst like-minded people, tell stories, not feel pressured or judged, just have a good time. And we go for a nice walk, we talk, we stop off at restaurants. There is drinking, but it's not the focus, it's not required, it's not, promoted. If you want to, go ahead. If you don't, that's perfectly fine too. And then you meet great people, and then you connect, and you go to other hikes. I've gone to Connecticut. I'm hoping to go with some people in the fall down to Washington, D.C. So it's a way to get vets who aren't doing much, and might feel alone, to be together, to get together and hang out. And then, like Bob was saying, now that I've met you at this event, you said, oh, next week there's a cornhole tournament for a veterans group. All right, cool, I'll go with you to that. So now I'm going to people I met at Irreverent Warriors. I'm going with them to other groups, to other events, and I'm meeting more people, and I'm getting those people to come to the Irreverent Warrior events. So it just expands, and now we've got all these vets that are spending time together, when they probably wouldn't have had, they don't met at an event like this.
Yeah, for sure.
So, we're a recently stood up committee, and the things that we just got through discussing about the meet and greet for the veterans is that none of us have a skill set, so we're kind of doing baby steps along the way, and we're looking for any expertise that you guys can offer that'll help us be more successful.
Sure.
So what I'd like to do is, well, first of all, I'd like to, open an invitation. You guys can join any of these meetings anytime you feel that there's something you want to share. But if I can share my contact information, or Stoney's the guy who's coughing, he's the chairman. If I could share my contact information and Stoney's information through David, we can keep that link going. And then from time to time, ask questions. How do you get food trucks to show up when they want a commitment, and how do you get venues to commit to an event and stuff like that? So
Yeah, it's a lot of networking, and it's getting to know people. That's what I found, and I've only been a coordinator, just last year, in September in Worcester, so that whole season, and then this year, since the beginning of the year, and I found that it's getting easier because, again, you just keep reaching out those connections, and you just start to meet people. So the funny thing is, when I got involved in all this, it was because I made the comment that I didn't think that we had any veterans here in the Northeast. I was like, I don't have any military in my family. Like, well, I live in the Northeast, and I was talking to my wife's family member who's a ranger, down in Savannah. I was like, yeah, around here you trip over each other. Up Northeast, nope. But now I found that different. Now that I've met all of you, all these people, I find that I just keep running into people who are somehow connected. And we had a food truck, so we did a big fundraiser at Craft Roots Brewery in Milford about a month ago. And we were trying to figure out what to do for food and where I was going to order from and the whole bit. And then I went to get some food. I was just having a beer one day at the brewery, and I saw the food truck, and he had an American flag on it. And I asked the guy about it, and he says, "Hey, I'm a vet." And I said, "Well, awesome. We're doing an event for veterans. Why don't you come?" And next thing I knew, he was offering me food. He gave me an incredible discount on the food. So it was just talking to people. And what I found too for some of these events, it's just asking. There are a lot of people, and I think oftentimes veterans think that people don't want to help them, or they don't know how. And I think that was my issue when I started. Like, I didn't know how to help. But there's an incredible amount of people out there that are willing to and able to help. But they sometimes need asked because they don't really know how to help or that they can be of help. We need breakfast for our facility site on May 25th. And I thought, all right, we've got some budget, I'll go buy it. But I know every damn day there's a whole group of veterans having coffee at Honeydew Donuts in Milford. I said, let me figure out who this guy is. And I hunted him down today, and I sent him a note. I said, hey, every day you've got veterans hanging out and having coffee there. That's awesome. I appreciate you giving them the space. I'm doing an event, can you help me out with breakfast? He said, tell me what you need. I said, 125 people. He said, done. Done. No questions, just tell me when and where. Chick-fil-A has always been that way. I called any Chick-fil-A. I said, I'm doing an event for 200 people in Worcester last year. They said, tell us what time to be there. So it's not as hard as you think. You just have to, realize that it's okay to ask.
Chick-fil-A is a veteran-owned company, right?
I'm not so sure about that.
No, I think it's just Christian owned.
Yeah, it's just Christian.
Oh, okay.
So the question I have is, you mentioned the town of Milford, you mentioned town of Worcester. Are those set locations, or could you do like a town of Grafton and look for one of your events?
Those are set for now. It's a real hard thing to sort of do a new one. Now, for the Silkies hike, like anytime we do that, it's massively starting over. People sort of get situated in the town. That's not to say I wouldn't do something in Grafton. I think it'd be a hell of an opportunity to do something. And that may be more of an opportunity to do a family hike. All right, where we don't have to go 8, 9, 10 miles, and some of it's logistics about like where are you going to stop. That's what's really kind of hard is we start in Holliston. There's nowhere to stop between Holliston and Milford, and then all of a sudden you've got 17 places right in Milford. So you want to give enough distance. But in a town like Grafton, maybe it's 3, 4 miles that you're just going around town, and saying, all right, let's invite families out, because that's just as important. You know, having the support of the families, you know, letting people come out with their kids.
So what if we started off with our 4th of July parade, getting the Reverend Warriors out there, getting the veterans' families out there and walking the parade?
I would love to, and I'd love to say yes. I don't know where else I'm supposed to be that day.
Yeah.
Maybe we can sort of splinter into groups and you know, see who's available. But yeah, there's a lot of places you know that a lot of people try to be on 4th of July.
Yeah.
I would love. I mean, like I said, I do them all. You know, that's why when Dave talked to me about coming on here, like I say yes to everything because I just want to meet people. I want to help. But yeah, it's you know, we have to reach out to our network and say, hey, who's in the area? Who can go?
Well, and
I'd love to.
Mike was thinking along the same lines as I, and one of the problems that we're running into is, you know, what do you do to get veterans involved? That's always been the question. And a lot of people, their first thing is, well, let's bring in somebody to talk about benefits. Well, if everybody is telling me that that's what they're going to do, then that's what everybody is doing. And, you know, no, people don't always want to hear about that. So then we try to change it up. You know, we're trying to do the comedy event, trying to find something that is unique, like the Silky Ruck and or hike, and something that's different that draws people's attention, because we're not getting the involvement from the vets that we want. We want to know what problems they have and how we can best serve them, but then we need them to participate in these committees.
Yeah, I think that's your key point there, right? It's like, you know, so for me, when they said, hey, Bob, can you run this thing? I said, sure, but I need the buy-in of some vets. Because, you know, and that was a concern that the organization had with the civilian running the hike. Are veterans going to follow the civilian?
Yeah.
Right? Are you going to be able to get people to turn out to this hike? We don't want to, you know, cannibalize our hike just because we put someone in charge we think can run it. How are you going to get veterans out? I said, well, first of all, I'm just going to call them. But second of all, you know, I'm going to put people on my team that I know will also reach out. And I'm going to demonstrate, you know, some leadership that says, hey, you guys want to be here. You know, we believe in the mission. And I got a group of people that wholeheartedly believe in what we do, and they're my biggest, you know, champions. Right? I can send Dave out, I can send, you know, John out and Chris out, and I can send these guys out and say, listen, guys, I can't reach all these networks, right? Or I'm not in all these groups, right, for different reasons. Maybe I'm just not even able to be in that group because of my status as a civilian. They're only letting, you know, veterans on that Facebook group. I said, go in and you post the flyer, you ask the question. But sometimes it's just pick up the phone. I picked up the phone at least 20 times this week and just called somebody and said, hey, can you come out? Can you come support us? Can you come support me?
Right.
You know, this week, because I would really like to see you there, and I know some people could use the help. And you know, I mean, people, if you have that connection with people, they'll come. You know, they'll do everything they can, and you guys especially, right, veterans. That's the whole point. Like you guys are gonna bend over backwards to help each other out. So if you ask the question, can you help? Right? Because that's the other thing I learned about Irreverent Warriors very early on. Like, this is what made it so incredibly simple and beautiful, was if I went to Dave and said, hey, Dave, I see you're having a real rough time. You know, I got this group, you know, they're doing great things for veterans, and maybe if you come out, it'll help you. He'd probably say, no, I'm good. I'm fine. You know, I don't need help. I'm good. Right? But if I called him up and said, Dave, you know what? Hey, there's this awesome thing happening next week. You know, we're going to help a bunch of veterans, and there's going to be some people there that need some help, and, you know, I think you'd be a great person to help. He's going to show up, and because he's helping somebody else. He's not there to help himself, he's helping somebody else.
Yeah.
And that's the mentality that I've learned most veterans have, is I'm all about helping somebody else. I might not help myself, but I'll help somebody else.
And that's some of
Ask them
the
to come and help somebody else, they're there.
well, and that's some of the issues that we're running into, because as the town committee, we have to get permission to contact people. They have to give us their information. So we're limited there. And then the other thing is, you know, we've got the Legion and we've got a VFW, but they're aging out and they're not getting the young people in. Where Milford, you know, they have the combat motorcycles vets, But they have some other groups, veteran groups that are focused on the younger folks. Worcester, the same thing. They've got the DAV, which has done a lot to start pulling in younger vets. And that's one of the problems that I see us in Grafton struggling with. Is it's hard for me to tell if it's just we are a town of older vets, or if we're just aging out of our veteran groups and there's no other group to come in and take over for the younger generation. But I think a lot of what you said is correct. It is spot
Yeah, no,
on.
I think you've got some good ideas on events for sure. It's just, it's getting those sort of, kind of white knight, those champions for those
Yeah.
events, and who have the connections in the networks. And they might not have them now, but that's just it, is when you sort of get that, bond and camaraderie. Like I said, I mean, we've had several new people, Dave's only been to a few, Nikki, like we had this woman, Nikki, come out and she did her first hike back in September, and man, she's at everything now, and she's dragging people to every event, and just the network of people she's created. I mean, she's a windstorm that brings 10 people out now.
Yeah.
I think if you want to get your name out, want to get vets to come out, you gotta harass. I mean, honestly, we have the Facebook group for IW Milford and Worcester, and I've sent it to pretty much every military person on my Facebook list. I've sent them the invites, the links to the hikes, each person probably 2 or 3 times. I'm surprised I haven't gotten, annoying phone calls or text messages back being like, stop sending this to me. And I texted them and I say, hey, come out to this thing, it's fun, it'll be great, you'll enjoy it. You'll meet cool people, you'll get to go do other cool stuff with these cool people, months from now. And I think if you guys could, I don't know, if I find events, I'll share them with Bob, and you guys, share events with us, but
Definitely.
we went. I ran the Boston Marine Corps 5K last weekend, and IW set up a table. So there was Bob was there, and a couple of guys were there. So they didn't run it. They set up a table, and they presented Irrelevant Warriors to the 900 runners. So you gotta find events and then go out to them and show face at different events.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been the biggest thing for us, is not even necessarily having events, but just showing up places. I go out, I'll go down to the Marine Corps League in Worcester, have a beer and see who I run into, right? Make a connection. It's not something I can do all the time. I don't, I'm not out at a bar every night, but if I got a choice of where to go, I go to where I can meet some people. And I'm just always sort of talking about it, or I'll wear my shirt and it's got the mission statement on the back, and somebody will ask me about it. I went to Seven Saws out in Holden, and same thing. Somebody just, there were a bunch of Marines sitting at the table next to me, and I knew it. You could tell. But I decided I wasn't going to harass them at all. But we got up in the beer line, and sure enough, the guy standing behind me tapped me on the shoulder, read the back of my shirt, and said, hey brother, are you a vet? And I had to explain myself, but at the end of the day, we got into a conversation, and I got him signed up for the hike. But that's what I mean. It's just it's opportunity, and I think that when you just sort of you guys are just starting and you got a lot of ideas, and when you're passionate about them and you talk about them, people will follow, and and that's just it. You get people out to these events, and it sort of multiplies.
Okay. Great.
And
Thank
you're
you.
right. I go to the Grafton Legion, and that's an older crowd. So we
Yeah.
gotta get. But Legions are hard because I don't think you're not gonna travel far to a different Legion. You're gonna go to the Legion that's near your house. So we gotta find the Grafton vets, or the vets that are close to the Grafton Legion, and have them come out.
Yeah.
I'll give you one other sort of tip, and then I actually got a jet. But my other sort of trick to that is, you can have an event, you can have a coffee day or whatever, and 3 people could show up, all right, and I would be posting like there was 100 people there. I'd put out a post and be like, oh my God, we had this incredible coffee, breakfast. It was so good to see people out at it. Hope you can make the next one. I wouldn't take a picture of the 3 people that showed up. I'd be like, hey, you missed it. You should be at the next one. right? Is that sort of feel, that fear of missing out that people have.
Yeah.
You keep talking about these awesome things that are happening, because some of them suck. It's like some of them, nobody comes, but if you never do it, well, then you're never gonna get anybody. But, you do enough of them. Like I tell people, I'm like, look, I'm going for coffee, on Saturday at 9 a.m. Anybody wants to show up, I'll be there. Most times, I'm going for coffee anyway. Somebody happens to show up, cool, I got somebody to talk to. Not coffee, I go home, But I was going either way, I didn't go out of my way. But
Right.
if somebody showed up, right? Hell, where the hell? It might have been 4th of July last year. I went to the Worcester Parade by myself because I couldn't get anybody else to go that day. All right? And I had my flag, I was out there, by myself marching in the Worcester Parade. Took a couple of pictures with the mascot, the Woo Sox mascot was out there, posted that, said, awesome day at the parade. You all missed it. Right? If I never admitted to you guys, nobody would have known that I was there by myself.
Well, now everybody in Grafton knows that you were there by yourself.
All right, guys, we have a full agenda we have to get through tonight, so thank
Yeah,
you.
you guys can get to your stuff, I got a jet anyway,
Yep.
but I appreciate the time.
No, thank y'all.
Okay, and I'll forward our contact information through David, so we can stay in touch.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You wanna take a break?
No,
You all right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, next up, Veterans Welcome Letter, that's Lucas and Justin.
I talked to Jeff.
Yep.
Did he reach out to you?
Nope.
No, okay. Jeff is not aware of veterans when they come in,
Okay.
but he was already working something similar to this,
Mm-hmm.
so he can put the letter in with that package.
Perfect.
So just need to tie up the loose ends on that.
Any questions? Mike, any questions from you? Okay, next item is kids deployment line, that is you, Mike.
It is me. So last meeting, I sent out a couple of, for a dog tag machine, range the price anywhere from like $250 all the way up to about $700. If the dog tag machine is something that we wanna do, for the kids deployment line. I kind of briefly talked about it last meeting.
I love the idea.
I think so. And I think that we use it outside of the kids deployment line too. We're at the meet and greets. We're at
Yeah.
National Night Out. That's how we get people to come to us.
Yeah. Little swag.
Yeah. So I think, Mike, based off of your experience, if you want to give us, it can just be, can you see it, like, it could just be a printout of the dog tag. I think you already sent this kind of stuff to us.
I did, yeah. I can send it out again.
Well, just pick the one that you think that we should buy.
Okay.
We,
I think probably the $700 one, for the simple reason is, the other one, it's like a hand stamp
Yeah.
one, and he wants just the whole thing, and it moves right. So,
Okay.
thinking about, your time making these things, and the quickness of making these things, I would go with like either a $700 one, or like the $450. The one that advances the dog tag itself.
Yeah.
It's hand stamping, down the line.
So, send both the 450 and the 700.
Okay,
I want to get it on the agenda so we can approve it in June,
okay,
because that's the end of our fiscal year. I believe we've maybe only spent about $500 so far out of our 2,000. So if we spend 500 on that, we should be able to buy the $700 machine,
Yeah.
which will tie up nicely. But I want to verify that.
How much of the
Plates.
tags?
$300 for it.
the blanks are pretty cheap. I can't remember. I can't remember what the cost was. It was,
Because if we don't have a plan to spend the rest of it on things, we could
Yeah.
buy like a whole bunch.
Yeah,
Because dog tags don't change or whatever. So then it could be like we've got
Yeah.
1,000 dog tags just waiting to be used, and we don't need to worry about buying them.
yeah, so give us blanks and chains as well. How much for blanks and chains? Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
If
Okay.
we feel confident that we are going to go forward with this before the end of this fiscal year, as you just said, it won't be stale. Maybe we could buy inventory
Yep.
now, buy the machine later. Because I think we may have excess, not excess, a few extra dollars. And we could do, you see what we have and then buy inventory to, I don't wanna say spend it or lose it type of thing, but by the same token, if we have a fair amount of money left over, let's use it for something that we know we're going to need down the road.
No, I agree, and that's why I think if we, because this fiscal year is almost over, we
Yeah.
buy the machine now, get it out of the way.
Oh, I thought you told them.
No, I want it in June. I want it
Oh,
on the
I'm sorry.
agenda.
I'm thinking,
So then we can approve it in June.
for some
Yeah.
reason, I've got the end of May is the end of the fiscal year.
Oh, yeah, no, we still got a month.
Okay, so, okay, yeah, so
And the
buy it in
inventory.
June.
And then I'm also gonna make a pitch for some 4th of July parade stuff, water bottles and some other things.
Okay, yeah,
So I think we'll be able to get close to spending the $2,000.
all right. Do you need, when you say water bottles, are you saying water bottles with like a little logo or a little printing on them, or like Grafton Veterans Advisory, or just water bottles?
Water bottles.
Generic?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. I'm thinking maybe water bottles and a couple of coolers, cause we need
Yeah.
something for the parking lot for when it gets really hot.
Okay, yeah,
So I was kind of thinking, whatever money we have left over,
right,
we'll spend it.
okay.
And then, we'll get those, and then we'll have it for next year.
Oh, yeah, all right, okay.
And then our budget is increasing next year to 5,000.
Whoa,
I know.
Yeah.
Right?
it's more than double.
Just so I'm clear, we decided not to do the obstacle course.
No, we haven't decided anything on that yet.
Okay, so this is gonna be, forgive me, I'm getting old.
Nope, you're right.
So is this part of National Night Out, or is this a separate event tied to a meet and greet?
This would be so what we discussed last time is this would be a separate event for
Okay.
National Night Out. But we have not determined when
Okay.
we would do this.
Alright, but if we did dog tags at National Night Out,
Yeah.
that would kind of grease the wheels, so to speak. And then
Okay,
the event would be that much more popular.
Right.
Yeah.
okay,
I mean, you give a kid a dog tag and an army truck, or a dog tag and a whistle, or a dog tag and a compass, or whatever.
yeah,
And then you tell them, oh yeah, we're gonna have
We're gonna have an obstacle course out back in a couple of weeks, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
can we,
Yeah, this is more kid related. I was at the Grafton Little League opening day with my son. We had this blow up obstacle course, almost like an obstacle type of a course. You know what I mean? It was an inflatable device. So, I mean, that's also a possibility to rent something.
Hmm.
You know, that's a blow up type of structure.
I would be willing to consider that for National Night Out.
But space is at a premium, so that's the thing. So, Mike, can I ask you some of the things on the list, can you start getting, like what's the price breakdown for things like compasses and whistles and toy trucks and camouflage t-shirts and, because if you can get us the price point for that stuff and what might,
Will do.
what we can get minimum order for, it's easier to go and ask for an exact amount rather than to kind of go, well, I think it's less than,
Yeah.
But if we had a specific dollar amount, I think it would fly a lot faster.
Okay, I'll work on it this weekend to get something out for you. Like I said, I have the price on dog tag machines. The other stuff is, I'll look up and see what I can find online.
Perfect. As well as the cost for that inflatable obstacle course.
Yeah, I don't know, we were in the event for the Grafton Little League, was it the,
No
trying to
idea.
think of who was the, sponsor of that, or the, organizer? I can ask.
Okay.
All
My
right,
son's on it, and I'll ask around.
so we're gonna carry this over to next month then.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I think one thing, just Mike, for you to keep in your head is once we vote on everything, We'll talk about, we'll have a list of, okay, here's all the swag, here's every, hopefully we have an idea on this obstacle course. And then Mike, I think the next step would be to have you reach out to the police chief who runs National Night Out and see if you can coordinate with him on space for this. And maybe we can take over some of the high school area or something like that. I don't know how far back they go, but we can start coordinating that.
And by all means, if you come up with an idea for something, just get a price for it.
Yep.
So, okay. Any other questions before we have to do CPR and stuff?
I gotta hold on until the last agenda.
You have to hold on?
Hold on.
I can teach that.
Okay. Memorial Day Parade.
Yeah, this is the one this is, Sean, the email you sent out about the police chief not knowing,
Yes,
that's what I'm concerned about.
yeah,
They have said, we want the town to deal with town stuff. I don't know what town stuff is to them. We have to have a list. What do you normally do? What did you not do and you expect us to do it?
Yeah.
Because, if the police chief didn't reach out to you, that would have been a nightmare on Memorial Day.
yeah.
And that's, like, they have never provided a hard list. The buses, they kept telling me the buses, who's gonna do it, like, I don't have any information for it. And then Carmen says, we reached out and did the buses.
They should produce, anything they're gonna handle should be printed on green paper. Anything they want us to handle should be printed on white paper, just so
Yeah.
because this is exactly what I was talking about at trustees meeting. It's like, I wanna have it
We need to know who's doing
etched in
what.
stone.
Yes.
Because I don't wanna get caught with our pants down.
Right.
Like, oh,
okay.
who's supposed to do Flanders Field? Oh, we don't know.
So,
And,
I was talking to the chief at the department heads meeting the other day, up at town hall. So he asked, about, and Jeff was seated next to me, and then the chief. And he said, so is there gonna be a parade? And we both kind of turned and looked at him and said, of course there's gonna be a parade. And said it's gonna travel like it did last year. It's gonna be the opposite of the 4th of July parade. And he said, oh, okay, all right, so we can close off Street X and Street Y, and so he knows, but I think the chief would like an official,
Yeah.
this is what's gonna happen at this day, at this time. So,
so, what date was your department meeting?
Wednesday.
Just this past Wednesday?
Yeah.
It was after the gazebo race?
Yeah.
Because I spoke to him at the gazebo race.
I know you did.
So, okay, so
But I think,
maybe he was just busy and forgot.
No, I think he's looking for something, like,
we have to send an official,
yes.
Okay, right, so at the last organization meeting at the Post, Carmen and his group, they did discuss assignments. Who's doing buses, who's doing, Knight's Limousine, for example, shuttling the veterans to their cemeteries, and things like that. So they did assign those type of tasks.
Right, but that's what they were always going to do.
Right,
They were always gonna deal with the ceremonies at the cemeteries.
yeah,
Everything else, they're looking for us to do. I don't know what that break is, though.
so
Right. Okay.
if you can get that list, if you can
Right.
get that master list from
Okay.
them.
Yeah.
Because
Alright.
then we can question and say, wait a minute, step 7, who's doing step 7,
yes.
because
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
really
All right,
concerned.
okay,
And let them know, say, hey, the police chief came up to us
yeah,
and said that he hadn't been informed yet. So we just are looking, like, what is it that you normally do? Like,
Right.
I inform these people, what do you want us to do? So we make sure that we can handle that.
right,
It's not a problem, no problem whatsoever handling it, but
yes,
if we don't know what they haven't
Can't handle
done,
something we don't know we need
Right.
to handle.
right.
so we just need to make sure that they understand.
Mm-hmm.
And I've talked to Andy, and Andy is focused on Flanders Field and getting the Boy Scouts and Girl
Right.
Scouts, but that's it.
Right, okay,
I know that they want us to get some people to talk at the end, which is
Yeah.
fine. I've already got some select board members lined up.
right,
I just need to know, like, what their plan is, so I know how many select board members So,
Yeah, because the last thing we wanna have them say, okay, Stoney, you're up, and you don't know what you're talking.
yeah.
Right,
So-
okay.
Can we go
You
down?
got the prayer and stuff, so like, are they doing that? Do we gotta get a reverend to do it, or somebody else?
Yeah.
I think they're doing it.
I think they are. I think
They
they
maybe
mentioned
are.
that their chaplain will do
Walter,
it.
Yeah.
Walter is the chaplain, and
Yeah,
so. Alright, so on your list, because we're trying to get through this as quick as possible. So you just have bullet point, contact Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. Is that an assignment or a question?
This is what I have, like, through conversations I have picked up, this is what they've asked for.
so now that's Andy and Holly
Yeah, I would say yeah.
are doing that.
Yeah.
That's been assigned.
Has Andy gotten confirmation, like, on people to do this?
From,
Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts?
not specifically, but he
Okay.
did get feedback, he just didn't get names.
Thanks, yeah. And that's fine, he usually doesn't get it to the end of the month,
Right,
but,
yeah.
So you have one speaker already listed as Anne Marie Foley.
yeah,
And then at the last trustees meeting, Matt often said he would step up,
Yep.
so that's two.
yeah.
Right,
And then,
David Meridian always speaks. Senator Moore is iffy based on commitments that, because he
Yep.
covers a lot of different towns.
but have we reached out to them yet?
We haven't invited them, no, but
And so I need to make sure,
well, so we don't know if the invite comes from Carmen and those guys.
you know what,
or not.
let's just start stepping on toes.
Yeah,
Let's just-
I agree with you.
Yeah, all right, so let me contact,
We double tap when we double tap.
yeah,
You know,
so I'll reach out to David and to Senator Moore.
Yes, okay.
if you need, I'll just go to their office.
Flip the table.
Yeah.
go to David's house.
I wish you a lot of luck with that.
Right.
Crawl into the window.
Scheduled buses.
They've,
Okay.
Knight's limousine has been scheduled.
Yeah,
So you
Nice
just said-
limousine, but the buses that pick up the band. that
And-
rides
hold
over
on, that's Jeff. Jeff Farrell was the bus contractor, or person contracting buses.
He did mention that as a department head.
Yes,
Okay. Because Carmen sent me an email saying he had already reached out about the buses.
okay,
Carmen's version of buses, and
I have no idea.
yeah, there's the Knights bus veterans ride, and then there's the school buses that all of them.
Okay. So,
And I think Jeff is on
Jeff.
the yellow school buses.
yes.
okay.
Jeff is talking to Carmen to make sure that they're knowing what time they want the
Like
bus.
hit times, where to drop off.
Right. Yeah, and how many like times or how many minutes between
Yeah.
leaving the common, leave the parking lot type of thing.
Okay, I wanna step on the gas so we can get him out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so flyover paperwork was
I've already submitted
submitted,
that.
okay. High school volunteer coordinator,
I
don't
need
know
to
what that
reach
is.
out. That was just to see if we can get some more volunteers or people to participate.
can,
That was something that we were talking about internally.
Can Phil help us?
Yeah,
Okay,
that was my thought.
okay.
Audio system,
Audio system, there is no audio system other than the one that they have always used,
which is the one from the town.
as far as I know.
So we just need to make sure that that's scheduled or whatever, we can swipe that.
I'll walk up on Tuesday and talk to Jeff.
Now,
think that
that
would
was
be-
one of the things I did talk to Norm Crapo about, his audio system. If it's, I haven't seen it, if it's bigger than what they have been using, I say maybe, he's offered it up, so I say we get it. And
There's two systems in town that I'm aware of.
National Night Out,
One is the rec, I think one is the rec department and one is the police.
okay.
Or they might share the same, I'll double check with Jeff.
All right.
Yeah.
I am interested if the police have one though, because if that's bigger, then that would solve our other issues.
From my recollection, it's not much different.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, items not reasonably anticipated. Anybody have anything to add?
Negative.
No.
Good answer. Next meeting is Thursday, June 20th, 2024. Wait for it. 1900?
Mhm.
Is that the right number?
Yes.
All right, all we need is a motion to adjourn.
Have a
What was that,
motion-
Mike?
I'll be at Disney World.
Oh,
All right, send us
Have a-
pictures.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to adjourn by roll call. Mike,
I
Stoney,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Lucas,
Aye.
and Bob votes aye. All right, we are officially adjourned.